But this just sent straight from Philly. Philly MC said they want that smoke, so we're gonna see what y'all got. Meek Mill, you know, you ain't got nothing but air and opportunity to show them how it's done.
I'm at a point in my life, like, we all grew up in the streets and we try to be better, but they labeled us felons, sent us back to jail. I had to fight against that the whole time.
Where would you be right now if you were just Meek Mill, who nobody knew, if you didn't have all these powerful people who raised your case up and made people?
I would be in prison.
Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you.
I appreciate it.
Meek Mill's got to deal with what he got to deal with based on the relationship him and Puff had.
What if the biggest success stories in hip-hop weren't driven by chance, but by carefully constructed illusions? What if the parties, connections, and mentorships were only a front for a much harsher system? This is an unfiltered journey from the streets to the spotlight, where ambition collides with manipulation. Beneath the smiles, a darker reality appears. Gatherings served more as a selection process than networking. Guidance functioned as control rather than support. And many celebrated rises came with a serious personal price. This isn't really about fame, it's about power and the unseen machinery of an industry that shapes and claims talent long before the spotlight ever hits.
When you that powerful, you didn't get that powerful without having one or two or maybe three ups on somebody. Diddy always been the type of individual that wanted to have ups on the next person no matter what they was doing. Like, he always played artists against each other. He did it to Big, he did it to Craig Mack. You understand? I said before, he did the stuff to Ja Rule, you know what I'm saying? So how the ups on Ja Rule so he could go after Jay-Z. You understand what I'm saying? So he always played those kind of up games on people. So to have those cameras and know what he was doing, it's gonna give him the ups on everybody who came to that party. Even your favorite basketball player. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. We know who said that. He may be one of the persons got caught up in the Diddy party.
Pay close attention to what's unfolding. These gatherings weren't informal, they were tightly managed spaces where every interaction was monitored and recorded. This isn't speculation, but an insight into how power is maintained through control of access and information. Guests weren't merely present, they were absorbed into a wider system. Nothing happened by chance, everything followed a plan. In this environment, visibility becomes vulnerability, and influence isn't driven by talent alone, but by records that subtly dictate control, drawing even respected figures into a system they never intended to be part of.
I will tell you, look, if you just pay attention to the testimony, there were videos on an iPad that the employees had access to, right? And you can't tell me anyone who's watching this, they've been anywhere and something was going down and somebody said, hey man, give me a copy of that. Right? I mean, we can go back to the R. Kelly tape. That was VHS. You know how hard it is to make a copy of a VHS? and it was probably 30 or 40 of them tapes in every neighborhood. Right? Now we talking about digital. Now we talking about, hey man, airdrop me that video. Right? Hey.
Spread like wildfire.
Exactly. Because I am pretty sure either through the dark web or through one-sided consent of some sort, it's going to be released.
Legal experts recognize that recorded material from elite industry spaces may exist, turning speculation into a genuine concern. Private moments weren't preserved as memories, but used as leverage, quietly sustaining power through fear and the risk of exposure. For emerging talent, this wasn't by chance, but part of a deliberate system built to foster dependence and maintain control.
with all the man-on-man action that I'm learning about, I mean, like with the puffy parties, like the last thing I ever thought that went on there was gay stuff. Not that gay stuff was wrong, it's wonderful. I just did not think that's what Puffy was doing.
Yeah, well, I didn't think it either. And even when my assistant said that stuff, I still was like joking it off. And it wasn't until later on that I heard other things from people that worked from him. You know, you remember that back in the times of slavery, they had a thing called breaking the buck. That people in the industry are still making young rappers who have fought the worst of circumstances, being disenfranchised, being discounted, and then they finally like, I'm gonna put it into music. I'm gonna do it in the music. I'm gonna, and get myself together. And they go and see someone, and they tell them, okay, yeah.
Consider this idea: breaking someone down to gain control over them. This isn't mentorship; it reflects a modern form of domination. Young talent isn't nurtured but systematically worn down, with identity and independence eroded through pressure and psychological strain. The harm is recorded intentionally, not by chance, to reinforce dependence, silence opposition, and maintain control.
They're all so tough until you hear their real name.
Yeah, or until you see them at a puffy party.
Oh.
Then they're not tough no more. I'm surprised that the rap game is still alive because the masculinity that the rappers are supposed to portray.
Terrence Howard highlights a striking contrast that's difficult to overlook. Artists who display the most intense toughness on stage often carry the deepest unseen struggles off it. The more amplified the image of dominance, the greater the hidden weight behind it. That projected strength becomes a shield, a carefully constructed persona meant to conceal vulnerability, pressure, and experiences they weren't equipped to handle. In this sense, performance becomes protection, an external display designed to mask the impact of what happened beyond the public eye.
You saw this lawsuit that made it seem as if perhaps Diddy and Meek Mill had...
I mean, to each their own, and why would they not have when they're gay rappers?
They.
Do you think Meek Mill's gay?
We all know he's gay.
Who's we?
Rick Ross knows he's gay.
I didn't know. News to me.
Everybody, Rick Ross knows.
You think Rick Ross would sign a gay rapper?
Rick Ross knows he's gay.
Now the narrative becomes more focused as certain figures are referenced, not to spark controversy, but to illustrate a wider pattern. Artists recognized for projecting the most dominant and unyielding images are used as examples of how this system is said to function. The emphasis isn't on personal choices or identity, but on an alleged framework that targets influence itself. The claim revolves around psychological pressure rather than private behavior, describing a method intended to weaken individuals internally while they maintain a powerful public image, reinforcing control through fear, silence, and imbalance instead of genuine support or guidance.
You call him Gusher?
I said Usher is a gusher. That's what I said. I said Usher is a gusher. It was nice.
I don't even want to know why you say
his whole thing is accusing everybody of being on some mystery Illuminati gay shit, right?
So what? They shouldn't have showed me their coup.
This term isn't framed as clever wordplay, it's described as proof of intentional harm. What's being claimed is a process in which public figures are exposed to severe humiliation, deliberately documented and used to erode their confidence and sense of control. The objective, as presented, isn't shock or controversy, but the breakdown of individuals whose reputations are built on strength and invulnerability. By creating moments meant to diminish rather than empower, the system turns image into a tool, weakening people internally while they continue to project resilience outwardly.
Diddy got locked up. Meek Mill came out saying that he'll pay somebody $100 grand to investigate that he has nothing to do with anything with Diddy.
Man, look, I can't. You can't take back what your received. That's just like the video that's coming out with him and Will.
With Will Smith getting the Will Smith. You ain't heard the Will Smith footage?
Yeah.
Alright, Will Smith. Then they got the Carl Winslow. Yeah, they got a lot, bro. There's a lot coming out, bro. You know what I'm saying? And let me just keep it to you.
The claims are no longer presented merely as stories, but as alleged recordings that could emerge in the future, according to those making the accusations. The emphasis isn't on shock or spectacle, but on the assertion that influential figures were secretly documented in moments intended to undermine their dignity and create leverage. These allegations suggest a system where private vulnerability is captured and preserved, not to reveal truth, but to sustain quiet control. Whether verified or not, the underlying message remains clear. Within certain circles of power, documentation becomes a form of dominance, and reputation turns into a point of pressure used to silence, direct, and contain those who seem untouchable from the outside.
A victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious this is. Because if he can be a predator, then anybody can be a predator.
Can't smile in your face the whole time.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, people look at Usher, they don't see that. They not seeing the victim. They not seeing that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that. He had already been to the hospital. That situation that Gene was talking about. And you still took Bieber there. But you got custody of him first. Diddy had already tried. They wouldn't let him. Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the diddler. Does that sound like a good guy?
It's horrible.
Does that sound like a good guy? Now that we know what Diddy's really like. What kind of asshole do you gotta be to take another boy, another talented boy, and put him in your place so it ain't gotta be you no more? Because that's what do. They get victims, and then once they get to a certain age and they get too old for them to enjoy them, they send them out to go get other young kids.
Here's the central idea: refined and focused. The system doesn't end with a single individual, it perpetuates itself. Those who are pressured and broken are later compelled to bring others in, turning victims into reluctant participants in order to survive. This isn't isolated harm. It becomes a self-sustaining cycle where control intensifies with each transfer. By documenting the initial breakdown, the system enforces silence, obedience, and continuity. Every new recruit reinforces the structure, and every recruiter becomes more entangled, allowing the cycle to continue. Within this framework, certain artists aren't just targeted, they're reshaped to help sustain the system. At this stage, the discussion shifts beyond theory toward patterns, accounts, and recorded behavior that illustrate how psychological manipulation operates in real time.
Mill's got to deal with what he got to deal with based on the relationship him and Puff had. Dressing alike, being cozy, Puff calling him daddy, saying little innuendos to him. People are looking at that and saying Meek Mill is wrong for saying no Diddy. But you can't tell a man how to spend his money and how to make love to his wife or his Diddy. Diddy had rented a mansion out for Meek Mill's birthday party, and he had rented it for like $25,000. I remember we rented one of Cher's mansion out. You know what I'm saying? And that's the day he had fired his cook, but that's a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying? It was me, Wolf, Mace, was Ox staying there? No, it was just me, Wolf, Mace, Puff, and there was one other person staying in the mansion. But anyway, long story short is that they came recently. This happened a long time ago, but they recently just made a statement that they found loads of cocaine. I wonder what they did with the cocaine, because they didn't turn it over to the police. They said they found loads of cocaine, razor blades. They said that the sheets were bloody, nasty. They found a whole lot of used condoms. And it was a Diddy party, giving it Meek Mill's honor for his birthday. I was like, yo, wow.
Here's the concise core. A former insider claims direct exposure to how certain industry relationships functioned behind closed doors, stating that key events were widely witnessed, yet largely ignored. The allegation isn't presented as rumor, but as an illustration of how visibility and silence work together. Many observed enough to grasp the implications, yet remained silent. What stands out is the prolonged quiet from those involved, raising questions about pressure, vulnerability, and unspoken consequences. The broader point isn't sensational detail, but a culture of complicity, where influence, fear, and personal risk kept powerful stories buried long after the spotlight had moved on.
People that been in those parties and seen probably some unscrupulous that went down and was like, ooh, I was there. I hope they don't got me on tape. They feel in a certain way, so they're not going to speak on nothing until they've been approached with something. You got to realize, when Homeland Security get their evidence together, they're going to send agents out. You understand? They might send an agent out to me. Yo, what do you know? What have you heard? What have you seen? What's been going on? You know what I'm saying? You know, did this happen when you was around him? Did this happen back in the day? That's what they're going to want to know. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to send investigators out. They're going to send people out for anybody that they can get some information from to help their case. So those celebrities ain't going to say nothing. You know, you got your man Stevie J speaking on it right now. He'll be one of the first dudes that they'll probably pull to the side and say, yo, well, you say that your man, I heard you on TMZ say that he never did this and he never did that. But ain't this you? If those pictures or those films or anything like that exists. You know what I'm saying? That's what they pay those agents to do. So, of course, I don't believe that none of the people who are his celebrity friends is going to speak or say nothing until they're either contacted or they know what they really got.
So you feel like they might be worried that they might be on tape at one of Diddy parties doing something they wasn't supposed to be doing?
I think that the celebrities that may be worried is because what Lil Rob said. Lil Rob said in his affidavit that Diddy had every room taped and bugged. Diddy had, yo, bro, can you imagine he had every room taped and bugged, and they found little bugs or little tape recorders, little those micro projectors or whatever like that, or video cameras. They found them in the house, bro. So by them having those things in the house, and people know there's drugs, there's alcohol, there's loose women, There's loose men, woman on woman, man on man.
Here's the distilled essence. A former insider describes a coordinated effort within the industry to conceal mistreatment that others knew about, highlighting a network that protected power over people. This wasn't the action of a single individual or public-facing role, it was collective silence, reinforced by influence and fear. Most striking is the claim that recorded material exists with the potential to reveal the entire structure. With legal proceedings concluded, reports indicate that this information may soon surface, bringing long-buried allegations into public view. The focus now isn't on threats or speculation, but on accountability, as documented evidence could force a reckoning the industry has long avoided.
I'm at a point in my life, like, we all grew up in the streets, and we try to be better, but they labeled us felons, sent us back to jail. I had to fight against that the whole time to gain my respect and be who I am today.
His words indicate more than legal frustration. They reveal a pattern of intimidation designed to enforce silence. Every display of independence triggered renewed pressure, strengthening control and vulnerability. This wasn't random adversity, but a deliberate cycle. The true cost isn't legal consequences, it's the enduring psychological toll of understanding that the promise they chased was founded on deception.
Actually caught HIV, like having like a lot of women.
Oh yeah, let's just go down the rabbit hole of all of his sins.
I'm just saying.
You want to know what's wild about that though? He faced that head up.
He did.
And he didn't stop doing what he's done.
He an advocate. Now he did that. And
period. Listen to me. He faced that head up. How many dudes is running around undetectable? G.
Come on.
In the game.
Man.
Because I could tell you 20 right now that I could rattle off names, and wouldn't nobody be able to sue.
The allegation intensifies from influence to reported physical harm. Some individuals are said to endure lasting health effects from coercive environments, yet remain silent because speaking out carries risk. Framed as systemic rather than personal, the concern is that when power overrides consent and safeguards, the damage can become permanent, leaving people caught between survival, silence, and control.
All the champagne was spiked, son. Like, all the champagne was spiked. Everybody was passed the out. I don't drink, so I was playing that off like I don't drink. I smoke. Like, I smoke and I had my own weed, but like everybody was passed out. Yo, Diddy had that man in the room. Look, yes, I put my ear to the door and I brought the phone because Diddy started going in overdrive. I ain't know what the was going on, but I just heard balls slapping against cheeks. I heard struggling to take. I heard being like, yeah, daddy. Like when he started all that daddy this and daddy that, and then I heard some hollering and struggling. Like, yeah, I kept the phone there and I recorded all this because I was like, this Diddy rich, so I'm finna put the squeeze on.
The focus moves to alleged insider accounts, depicting a deliberate system rather than isolated incidents. Environments were tightly controlled, judgment compromised, and moments intentionally recorded to generate leverage. Nothing was accidental. What appeared as entertainment is presented as a calculated process of manipulation, using pressure and fear to assert control and confine people to decisions they never freely chose.
It's not right, man. So what the f I'm living for? Like, why the f I'm on this earth for? Like, why? Like, Osiris, why you haven't even? Like, this crash? Like, this do something that like, at this point, it's like, why the f you on this earth still? Like, why you still? Why the f you? Like, why the hell you on this earth? Why? When nobody with you, it's like you don't have nobody. Like, what the f are you on this earth for? I can't even see my kids. Like, what the? I haven't made no music. I haven't made no money for music in like 2 2.5.
Observe the breakdown and consider what could push a young artist, at the height of opportunity, into such distress. Insiders point to broken promises and crossed boundaries, not as weakness, but as the price of surrendering identity and dignity for a future that never materialized. When total compliance is presented as success and ends in rejection, the harm can linger, leaving lasting impact long after fame or wealth has faded.
The industry is not what you think it is. Don't let these people fool you, man. Before in the social media, I'm gonna give y'all a little background of me, man. Like, my life is not perfect, man. Don't think because I'm on Instagram showing this, showing that, I don't got a perfect life either. And I want you to understand that just because all these rappers show all this money and show all this fame, don't think their life is good. It's not. These people are always faking and let you know that this is not what y'all want. Do something that's low-key. Do something that can help you out other than being a target or a flashy. Because God can take this away from you real quick, and it's not a blessing from God. And I tell people that 24/7, this is the devil's game. It is not. This is not no God's game. This right here is for you to look up to me. This right here for you to look up to me. This right here is for you to look up to me. If I don't wear this, you don't look up to me. If rappers don't do what they do, you won't.
When young artists come forward, their trauma is often mislabeled as instability, making their warnings easy to ignore. Pressure and enforced silence shield the system, enabling harm to continue while success conceals control. The issue isn't the individuals, it's whether the industry will address the structures that sustain it.